Welcome back to my series, Kelly Reads Midnight Sun, where I read the 5th Twilight book, but it's just Twilight from Edward's point of view. Last time we just got done with Bella almost getting hit by a van, but not, and our neurotic vampire protagonist brooding about what he has to do next. So let's get into it. And in case you didn't know, apparently I'm a #1 reader. And it's a fact now, because I have the mug. You can't argue with the mug, right? Chapter 4, Vision, starts with Edward already being neurotic. Wow, that did not take long. He went back to school after the car accident because he was uninjured, obviously. And he's just cranky because he's like, I want to know where Bella is. I want to know if she's okay. It's like, yeah, your dad checked her out. She's fine. She's probably at home, like, taking a nap. But instead, he's like, all afternoon, I was gritting my teeth against the urge that had me yearning to ditch 2 in order to find the girl again. Like a stalker, an obsessed vampire stalker. You know that meme of the overly attached girlfriend? I feel like that's Edward. It was more interesting in Twilight because, like, she had legitimate reasons to be a little confused by him and to be like, what is going on with this dude? And then that van scene solidified, there's something about this dude. Like, he's just like bench pressing vans in his free time. That's a little unusual for a supposed 16, 17-year-old. But from Edward's point of view, it's just like, Edward then explains that what he should be doing is kind of like PR ground control on the whole situation and be like letting different people know that Bella hit her head and she's like maybe been seeing things, kind of laying the groundwork for the lie that she shouldn't be believed, that if she were to like tell someone about him like jumping across the parking lot and saving her life, that they'd be like, you just hit your noggin. But he's like, but I just couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. So he doesn't really say anything. He's just like, yeah, I wouldn't know. Because he's like, I felt bad saying mean things about Bella behind her back because she hasn't done anything wrong. Him and Emmett have a conversation. Apparently Rosalie's on the warpath. I don't know what that means. I don't know what she's planning to do, but I know from Twilight that nothing happens, so I presume she gets over it. And then apparently Jasper is more resolved, which again, it doesn't explain what that means either, except Edward got really angry about it. Is Jasper gonna eat her? I don't... Like, his whole personality in the first book is just trying to not eat people. That is who he is. He's just a placeholder vampire that's not used to the vegetarian lifestyle. And then Emmett says, Jasper's not going to do anything until we talk. So I assume he's going to be talked out of it. I feel like this should have been, she should have made this an alternative reality, like an alt-reality version. I think that would have been more interesting. Because we already have Twilight. we know already. Still having a good time. We're gonna rally. I'm sure she's gonna throw in a little nugget just for us. It's gonna be. So still in Edward's head, because of course we are. He's thinking about how he would want to protect Bella. So I'm guessing that's the reason why he was worried that she wasn't in school, that maybe like his family would get her. But anyway, so he's deliberating if he cares enough about her that he would fight his family for her. And the answer is a quick yes. He's ready to duke it out. He's ready to throw some punches. Fuck you, mom. Fuck you, dad. Fuck you, fake siblings. I like her. She smells good. And so now he's like making the mental calculations of like, who would side with who? Could he fight and take someone on? Apparently he's always beaten Emmett at wrestling because he could like get into his thoughts. So even though Emmett's stronger, he's still at a disadvantage. Just mulling everything over, as you do before you go to war against your vampiric family. They all meet up at the car together because of course, even though they're all grown-ass people, they carpool together. Rosalie's thoughts were so loud that he couldn't help but hear her practically shouting, idiot, lunatic, moron, jackass, selfish, irresponsible fool. She kept up a constant stream of insults at the top of her mental lungs. Mental lungs. Stephanie. Like, I allowed you to get away with the whole shouting bit because I understood what you're getting at. Both in the sense of like how pronounced her thinking was, but also because she knows he's a mind reader, I assume like she could ramp up her thoughts and maybe send it to him. But mental lugs, like, just why? I feel like this was not looked at by an editor. They're like, it's gonna make bank, let's go. Now Edward's diving into the mind of Alice, who's currently foreseeing the future. How far into the future? No one knows, including Alice. So apparently Jasper's plan was to work alone, to go at Bella. I don't know if it was to kill her, I don't know if it's to turn her. It's not made clear. I don't know if it's clear to Edward and it's just not being relayed to us, or if no one knows. Because no one just talks to each other like normal people, because that would make too much sense. So she foresees Jasper going after Bella, but no matter what Jasper does, Edward ends up coming to block him. But because Edward is now reading her mind about potential futures, the future keeps shifting to where he's able to block Jasper off sooner and sooner, which is just another reason why her abilities are just wonky. Because of course, if the mind reader's involved, of course he's going to like use that information to his advantage. Now, of course, I don't know how, because it doesn't tell me if it's tonight or next week or a year from now. There's no telltale clues that we're given to know when Jasper plans on doing this. And then she tried to go further into the future to figure out what that potential future is down the line. And it's just misty. Great. Glad we got some clarity on that. Misty future. We all need contact lenses, I guess. Okay, so the Cullen family's having a big chat about what to do. And we have some people that have strong opinions. Both Jasper and Rosalie want Bella dead. They want to kill her and make it look like an accident, or that her head injury from the earlier van situation was worse than they thought. Of course, not everyone agrees with this, and Alice continues to be unhelpful by not being able to tell the future, which is supposedly the power she possesses. Edward says he's willing to leave, and people just kind of say, yeah, no, it has to be all of us leave or nobody leaves. We can't have it just be you. That would kind of look more suspicious than anything. It'd be weird, but again, I think people would move on. They'd move past it. Especially, you know, the alternative is you stay and then actually kill her properly. And I think that would look more suspicious. Carlisle poo-poos Rosalie's suggestion that she kill Bella, and he's like, that's no bueno. We don't do that. We the good vampires. Did you not read the synopsis? We good. If we start killing folks, then we're bad. That's how goodness and badness works. And then Rosalie's complaining because she's like, God, we just got settled. I don't want to move again and start in my sophomore year again, which is such an arbitrary time to start. It doesn't really make any sense. The whole idea is that the Cullens move from place to place and they take up a position in that society where they can blend in for the longest period of time without people noticing that they're not aging. So if you want to stay there longer, when you stay as a freshman, why sophomore? And then Carlisle mentions that, oh, if we move, you can keep your present age. And then she's like, but then we'd have to leave earlier. College exists. You could literally go to college out of state. The way you dress, the makeup you wear can make you look younger or older. I think it's so arbitrary to be like, yeah, you get those 3 years in high school and then you gotta move and go to another high school over and over and over again. That's a really quick cycle if that is the window of time they give themselves. They could just be people that use great moisturizer. Like, I think people would just be jealous of their skin for a long time before people start like raising an eyebrow to be like, yeah, I met them in 95 and they haven't gotten a single wrinkle in 25 years. Okay, fair enough. But Botox exists. I don't know. I'm overthinking this per usual, but come on. What are we doing here? Also, Edward's like, dude, Bella won't talk. I feel pretty confident on that. I can leave. You'll still have Alice's visions. And they're like, no! With rumors going around, we'll need your mind reading powers more than ever. He could just sneak around. Like, no one's gonna check up on him if he's not reported missing to the police. Like, he could just speed run past people and read their minds and then go back He could just be in the next town over. Like, I think they're both overthinking this and underthinking this, which is really impressive. They need to hire me because all their problems come from just poor planning. Plot twist, Edward and Jasper are talking to each other about their intentions. Jasper's like, dude, like things could go really sour if we don't follow the rules and make sure that the humans aren't suspicious. I'll just kill Bella. It'll be fine. And Edward's like, it won't be fine. I won't allow it. I will fight your butt. I will win. And Jasper's like, I will refuse to let Alice be in any danger. Alice is like, hey, hi, over here. Jasper's like, shush, I know you can protect yourself, but I'm gonna do this completely ridiculous thing that nobody has asked for. And she's like, actually, Bella and I are gonna be friends. Hi. I can see the future now. It was clear as glass in her head of just Alice and Bella, arms wrapped around each other, smiling. The vision was rock solid. The timing wasn't sure. So it's not rock solid. Not to mention, like, anyone can change their mind at any point in time and it's suddenly not so solid anymore. Jasper gasped. Alice, I'm so shook at it. You having friends with a person who's human? Alice says, I'm going to love her someday, Jazz. I'll be very put out with you if you don't let her be. Put out. Like, just love put out. Those are not equal emotional reactions. And also, good friends who sometimes touch around the arms. That's, you know, doesn't get better friends than that. That's true platonic love, is that posing for a picture while smiling shot. And I love, like, completely derails Jasper. It's like, oh, well, no, now that she's friends with her, that complicates things. Oh, but apparently there's more to the vision that Alice doesn't want Edward to see, so she's trying very hard to not think about it, which, don't know how that works. By necessity of trying to make sure you don't think about something, you're thinking about the thing you don't want to be thinking about. But okay, we'll never get through this if we question every line of this, so we'll just, sure, Stephanie, we'll let you have it. This mental secret of Alice's last 3 lines. He's like, what are you hiding from me? Emmett grumbles. He hates it when Alice and Edward just have a conversation amongst themselves that no one else understands or is privy to, because it's all into mind. Me too, Emmett. Me too. I'm actually privy to what they're both thinking, and I still don't like it. Edward asks, is this about the girl? Is this about Bella? And then immediately she slips and he sees it and he goes, no! All caps on the no. I heard my chair hit the floor and only then realized I was on my feet. Suddenly Carlisle's on his feet, gripping Edward, and then Alice whispers, it's solidifying. Every minute you're more decided. There are really only 2 ways left for her. It's one or the other, Edward. So I'm assuming it's the vision of Bella being a vampire. Spoiler alert. And it's just like, that is so annoying. You have what's like supposed to be like this really tense scene, and then you just have Emmett, good old peanut gallery, just 3 feet away going, God, this is dumb. I want to know what's happening. Something happened? What was it? Am I telling the people in the back? Okay, and so then Edward's like, I'll just go. I'll go. I know we're not done with this conversation, but I'll just leave. It's fine. She can't possibly become a vampire if I skedaddle. I was like, dude, we've been over this. That's not gonna work. It's just gonna get people to start talking more if you leave. And then Alice tells him, I don't see you going anywhere, Edward. I don't know if you can leave anymore. I think you can. There's literally nothing preventing him from leaving. And also, her visions can change any 5 seconds. Just because she says it's solidifying doesn't solidify it. And then in her mind, she's quietly like, think about it. Think about leaving. I think he had to think about leaving in order to say he was leaving. But sure, okay. I understood what she meant. Yes, the idea of never seeing the girl again was ... painful. I had already felt that in the hospital hallway where I'd given her such a harsh farewell. But now leaving was even more necessary. I couldn't sanction either future I'd apparently condemned her to. And then she, in her head, is like, yo, my boyfriend, he's a little unpredictable. He might still go after Bella. So you really have to stay to protect her. And then in Edward's head, he's thinking like, I don't know if Jasper would do something to upset Alice, which I guess Alice somehow predicts because she's not the mind reader. Because she's like, not at this moment, but will you leave her? Risk her life? Undefended? And then he goes, why are you doing this to me? I groaned. My head fell into my hands. But apparently the answer is that Alice is already invested. She's like, oh yeah, like I had a 5-second clip in my brain of how we're gonna be great friends, hugging and touching, and I really want that. I haven't had a friend in 5 million years, so I am pro this future. And then she sighs, you are so blind, Edward. Can't you see where you're headed? Can't you see where you already are? It's more inevitable than the sun rising tomorrow morning. Excuse me. Can you imagine if she like was trying to have visions of a future sunrise and she's like, I don't know, bud. It's just not solidifying. So they keep quibbling back and forth, and then Emma's like, oh, come on. Oh, God. What a silly, messy, unnecessary conversation. It's a very random topic to discuss, but they do very much feel like siblings just quibbling over no particular thing. Alice finally tells the crowd, tells the rest of the audience, it all depends on whether he is strong enough. Either he'll kill her himself. She turned to meet my gaze again, glaring, which would really irritate me, Edward. Not to mention what it would do to you. She faced Jasper again, or she'll be one of us someday. She's already mentioned that like Edward loves her, but she's like, but it would really irritate me. Like, yeah, love of your life, romantic partnership and connection. Yeah, but did you see the vision where we were so close? There was 0 inches between us. We were touching. And we liked it. Edward keeps screaming that it's not going to happen. He's going to somehow prevent both of those outcomes. And then Alice is like, he'll have to have an amazing amount of self-control, which we know is very hard for this family. More even than Carlisle has. I don't know how you measure that, but okay. The only thing he's not strong enough to do is stay away from her. That's a lost cause. I understand if he was just like, oh, I physically, vampirically can't stay away. But they don't have any connection at this point. He just thinks she's swell because she doesn't like to kick up a fuss. I don't think that's enough for a romance. We're at the end of the chapter. Everyone's kind of reconciled themselves to Alice's vision, except our boy, our pouty little broody vampire child, Edward, who says no! And his voice was not a shout, or a growl, or a cry of despair, but some combination of the three. I had to leave, to be away from the noise of their thoughts. Rosalie's self-righteous disgust, Emmett's humor, Carlisle's never-ending patience, worse, Alice's confidence, and Jasper's confidence in that confidence. Worst of all, Esme's ... joy. Yeah, fuck being joyful, Esme. Way to read a room. All these people with their thoughts and feelings. And so he runs out into the rain, into the forest, to be all alone with himself. And he like thinks back to the visions Alice had, which, being visions of the future, she has 3 different visions. One is her and Bella are friends and Bella's a human. Her and Bella being friends and Bella's a vampire. And then the third being Edward killed Bella, which I don't think we needed a vision to suggest that those were likely outcomes. Edward's like super confident. He's like, oh yeah, she would totally be bummed if she was a vampire. I know. I can't imagine any other way. She would just hate it. And lastly, he thinks of her dead in his arms, having drunketed all of her blood. And he goes, Alice's bleak vision filled my head, and I writhed internally with the agony it caused. Meanwhile, the monster in me was overflowing with glee, jubilant at the likelihood of his success. It sickened me. Ugh! This is such ripe teenage angst coming from a 100-year-old man. Isn't it delicious? Writhed internally take a moment, try that out. Take that for a test drive. I don't know how that works. I wish video responses were still a thing so you could submit your version. And then he's like, this can't be allowed. There has to be a way. There has to be a way around it. Even though he's mentioned numerous times that Alice's visions always come true, which if you just have a vision of every possible scenario, then like, yeah, of course you have a good chance of success there. Also, if you have a vision half a second before it happens, yeah, that increases your, I think that's just using your eyeballs at that point, if it's something that's happening in front of you. But that's just me. I'm a mere mortal. What do I know? Except that we're at the end of this chapter, and that means that's the end of this video. So let me know how you are doing down below. Hopefully you're enjoying this as much as I am. This is just a goofy reprieve from the world for me and hopefully for you. Like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you next time. Bye!